1976, Steve Jobs co-founded Apple Computer, Inc., a company that aimed to make personal computing a staple of everyday life. His partner, Steve Wozniak, a technical genius, designed the Apple I, a single-board computer sold as a kit for hobbyists. Jobs, with his marketing vision, handled business operations. Working out of Jobs' garage in Los Altos, California, they developed the Apple II, launched in 1977. Unlike its predecessor, the Apple II was a fully assembled personal computer with color graphics, a keyboard, and expandability, making it accessible and appealing to a broader market. Its success, driven by Jobs' focus on a user-friendly design and Wozniak's engineering, established Apple as a pioneer in the burgeoning personal computer industry. By 1980, Apple went public, valued at $1.8 billion, setting the stage for its transformative impact on technology. These are the early Apple stories, as written by the amazing people and colorful personalities that collaborated to make computing what we know it today. We'll see about that. This is from folklore.org. Author Andy Hertzfeld, November 1979. Burrell Smith was a 23-year-old self-taught engineer without a college degree, who was drawn to Apple by the sheer elegance of the Apple II design. He was hired into Apple in February 1979 as Apple employee number 282, a lowly service technician responsible for fixing broken Apple IIs that were sometimes returned by customers. As he debugged broken logic boards, and sometimes more than a dozen in a single day, he began to develop a profound respect and empathy for Steve Wozniak's unique creative design techniques. Meanwhile, the Lisa team had been writing their first code in Pascal, running on Apple IIs, because the Lisa hardware wasn't ready yet. They had been at it for almost a year, and they had written more code than would fit in the 64 kilobytes of memory in a standard Apple II. In fact, the Apple II only had 48 kilobytes on its main board, but it used a language card to give it an extra 16 kilobytes used to run Pascal. To accomplish this, the language card had to bank switch its RAM over the ROM of the Apple II motherboard. Bill Atkinson was the main programmer for both the Apple II Pascal system as well as the new Lisa system. He was in the service department picking up some extra language cards when Burrell heard him lamenting about overflowing the Apple II's memory limitations. "Well, why don't you add more memory to the language card?" Burrell suggested. Bill was intrigued, but he complained, "You can't add any more memory because we're out of space. 64K is the limit of what we can address." Burrell already thought of that. "Well, the language card is already bank switching the RAM, even double banking the last 2K where the monitor ROM is. We'll just make it bank switch another bank." Bill was so enthusiastic, so Burrell built him a prototype while Bill modified the Pascal runtime to support the extra bank switching. It worked like a charm. So soon, Burrell was busy manufacturing 80K language cards for all the Lisa programmers. Around this time, Bill ran into Jeff Raskin. Jeff had been writing a series of papers about consumer-oriented programming. Around this time, Bill ran into Jeff Raskin. Jeff had been writing a series of papers about consumer-oriented computer that would be extremely inexpensive and radically easy to use. He was ready to start building a hardware prototype, so he was looking for a talented hardware designer who could pull off his vision of a brutally simple, ultra low-cost machine. "I've got someone who you ought to meet," Bill told Jeff. He made arrangements to bring Burrell over to Jeff's house in Cupertino for the weekend. Bill and Burrell showed up at Jeff's house at the appointed time. Bill introduced Burrell to Jeff, saying, "Jeff, this is Burrell. He's the guy who's going to design your Macintosh for you." "We'll see about that," Jeff said. "We'll see about that."